You got Leon D here, and we're going to talk about food. I'm not an expert on anything to do with food, but I've been around a long time, and I am a professional barbecuologist. I know food. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. I know a lot of things that you may not like. That's the intro for Leon D. Let's get it on. Welcome back to your boy DJ Leon D. Let's talk about something that really baffles me and bothers me about food. It's not so much about food as it is about the people maybe I associate with, and I don't mean hang out. Now, that's a whole different ball game. I'm not at your house. You're not at my house, but you either write me or we know one another from some walks of life, whether it was at a sporting event or somewhere I just met you. It could have been a PTA from 20 years ago, a PTA meeting. Let's talk about something that, last year, my goal now, everybody knows, smoking meat is my number one thing. Last year, my goal was to master tomahawk steak or cowboy steak. I wanted to master how long did it take, the seasoning, the taste buds. I wanted to master that. And I did. But let me tell you the God honest truth. I've always was able to smoke a tomahawk steak the way I wanted to. I got no problem doing that. I even dry aged it. Got no problem doing that. But the thing is, though, I wanted to master that because I've had tomahawk steak probably about 30 or 40 times in my life. There is very seldom have I ever cooked something or someone, it was their first time cooking something, and I thought it was perfect. Because I always cook something and thinking, could I have tweaked the taste a little? Whether it was add more garlic, add more onions, add more cumin. I'm always thinking, what could I have added to make it taste just a little better? Sometimes, like my hamburgers, they're world famous. And people think that Five Guys copied me. No, my hamburgers are all handmade, hand grind. I add my seasoning into the beef while I'm mixing all the beef together. I use egg for binder. All my stuff is handmade. You would never see two of my patties look the exact same. Because when you patting patties or putting patties together, there's no exact same. I intentionally don't use a burger cutter where you got a lot of ground beef spread out and just take a cylinder or something around and just toot, 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 toot. And so they all look the same. They're not the same weight. They're not the same size. They're similar in shape. And I don't have in my mind, this is going to be a quarter pound. This is going to be, a half pound. No, I grab some meat. I pat it together. I put it down. Whatever size it is that size. The thickness is different on each one, but it's just me. But some people tend to think that the first time they cook something, it's the best it can be. And like I said, last year I did tomahawk steaks because I wanted to use some new seasoning, and I found some seasoning I like. By a company called Ballner's in Texas, San Antonio, and they make this Fiesta rub. And don't think Fiesta rub means that it's only for fajitas or whatever. They make about 50 or 60 different rubs for all kind of meats. Now, I'm a big fan of theirs, but I found Ballner's steak rub, and it's not just salt and pepper like most Texans want their steak to be. They add some other things to it as well. And I took my tomahawk steaks, and I bought 8 tomahawk steaks, and I cooked them 2 at a time over a period of maybe 2 months. So I did that, and I mastered the tomahawk the way I want it to taste. Now, don't get me wrong, it's heavy on salt and pepper, but it's got the other things that just give it a little bit more kick. And now, each tomahawk steak weighed about 4 pounds, which is big as hell for each tomahawk steak. So I wanted to, I didn't want a pork chop, which weighs about 3 ounces in some places. So I was all good with that. Now, this year, I'm going to master whole pig. A pig and a cow are first cousins to me. They're first cousins. fish and seafood and all that, they're step kids. They are the step kids. So now the other first cousins is bison. Bison naturally is the big cousin, of a cow and a pig, because I can eat all of them and they all taste good. So this year I'm gonna master a whole pig, and I can already do bison. I did bison a million times already. So the reason I'm telling you that, because I want to master that this summer. I've already bought 4 whole pigs. After each one delivered, it's about 200 pounds. I don't want a little thin one and a small one. I don't want a suckling and none of that kind of stuff. I want a hog. I want a southern hog that's been fed a lot of stuff. I don't care if he's corn fed, if he was fed metal, if he was fed flowers. I don't care. I do him 200 pounds when I get him. Because the one thing that I'm telling you this, I've cooked a whole pig before in the ground. Me and Hawaiian buddy, he showed me how to do it. I did it. People loved it. They ate every part. But at the same time, people like a lot of things when it's free to them. When it's free, they love it. But these people paid money. And I got a lot of input, a lot of feedback. And so I want to do a whole hog because I got to get that shoulder and that ham on that hog. These huge pieces of meat. I want them to finish and be the right temperature at the same time. Because, you turn it and do all this other stuff. And my cook time is going to be 8 hours. 8 hours. I don't want this being like a 16-hour brisket. You're doing a 225 and it's going to take you 16 hours. Nope. I think I can do it in 8 hours, and I can do it under 275 degrees. I just got to get my pit so that I can maneuver and do things and make it so that it's very, very convenient. So I'm going to master whole hog. And the one thing I want to work on, and I can do certain ones, but I don't have the love, but I'm going to convince myself to love this, is work on my sides. I'm a master at baked beans, world famous. Everybody loves them. Everybody loves them. Green beans, mac and cheese. I get requested for mac and cheese all the time in baked beans. People who've had my baked beans and my sides love them. But I want to come out of my comfort zone and do sides, non-traditional sides. I can do cream corn and I can do this, but I want some jalapeno poppers. I can make those. It's easy to do, but I want to do some non-Southern type sides. Like I don't eat potato salad from anybody. No, there's only a few people I'll eat their potato salad because it tastes good, it looks good, and it don't have too much mayonnaise or it's not too dry. It's perfect to me. It's the way I would make mine. It's the way I do make mine in a lot of cases when I make it. So, whole hog, I'm going to do that. I'm looking at wild boar. Like I said, I've not ordered any whole wild boar just yet, but I got a buddy down in Arkansas and Louisiana. They tend to have a bunch of them, even though they wild and they probably disease infected. I got a solution for that. So I want to do that, and I want to cook more elk. Elk is a very lean meat, very, very good. I want to do more elk, so I think about ordering that because there's a place here locally that I can order this stuff from now. And like I said, bison, I can do that. I have bison all the time anyway. I've not spent a lot of time with deer meat. I have not. And I think I should at some point, just not this summer. That might be a future summer that I'm going to do that with. Now, saying that, I don't want to just master whole hog. I want to do the different sides than your typical Southern sides where everything's going to fatten you up. But I don't mind that because a barbecue should not be for those on a diet or those trying to lose weight. If you come to barbecue, that should not be on your mind. I had a barbecue a couple years ago. And my buddy's wife said, "Hey, that's gonna make you fat." I looked at her and say, "That's gonna make him fat. It's the stuff he ate before now that made him fat, because he's still over 300 pounds. If you thought about your weight and your diet, you should have never brought him, because everybody knows if you go to a barbecue, you throw out your weight loss regimen, no matter what the hell it is, you throw it away, and you come, you eat what you want to eat, and the next day you just got to walk an extra 2 or 3 miles. Now, not everybody do that or can do that, but most of you should do that. So, the whole hog, and they say a whole hog is not a one man or one person cook. It should be more than one. Now, I'm building a pit. Actually, the pit's completed. So I'm gonna do all this stuff, and I'm gonna this is the future stuff. I'm committed to it. I paid for them already. The pit's done. The only thing I'm looking for, and actually I'm not too far off, is the weather. It's been in the 40s. It's in the 50s now, and it's January of 2024. So now I kind of want to get started on it. And when I do it, I'm gonna take a couple of days off, to prep and get everything ready for it. The only thing, like I said, I want the hams and the shoulders to be, to finish or to be together when I finish, at the right temperature. Have the hams at like 190 and have the shoulders at like 205 or 200, something like that. But I'm all psyched up. I got all my information I need. I just got to find somebody who might want to do this or help or observe, somebody who don't just want to eat. Because see, I have some friends that you blink, they'll steal the ribs out of a hog. They'll steal the flats, the St. Louis, and they'll steal the baby backs. I mean, so to them, and also to them, when you do a whole hog, especially on a spit, I want to do it rotisserie style. I'm building my pit so that everything's rotisserie style. So I'm building my pit so that everything is like that. But I'm kind of excited to get started and to do it because I know already that I know what to do, and I kind of have an idea of who I want to help, because I'm trying to get somebody who don't eat pork. I got a few friends, well, at least publicly, they claim they don't eat pork. They say that in public. I seen one of them eat bacon that I cooked. I don't eat pork, but he ate a half of them, he ate a couple pounds of pork belly, in the form of bacon. So I'm all psyched up. I'm all ready to go. And I've been coming up with a lot of ideas about size. I like for size to be light, even though beans are not. Even though, anything to do with beans is not light. Black eyed peas, green beans, baked beans, they're not light meals. But I want, a lot of people eat a lot of bread. So, and I can, baking cornbread is easy. I'm not a Jiffy fan, so I don't use Jiffy, but I want to make bread that's light and tasteful. And the thing is, if you put butter in cornbread, it ain't going to be light. But I don't want it dense either. I don't want anything dense. Somebody gave me the cornbread. It was so thick in the middle, and I wondered why the cornbread felt like a grenade in my hand. I'm like, what the hell? This is like a small grenade. It was so dense. And when it's dense, it's hard to cook the middle, because if you do, you're going to burn the outside by the time the middle get done. So cornbread, something I want to go back to, but I want light and fluffy cornbread without 2 pounds of butter in it. So you got banana bread, you got all kind of things, but I don't want anything that's too sweet either. Yeah, so I don't want, like I said, I got 1,000 ideas, and I'm writing them all up, and I'm gonna create my recipes original. Anybody can look at a recipe and say, I can copy that. But like I said earlier in one of my early videos, that's for your taste buds. I want to craft it to my taste buds, and not so much healthy as I don't want people coming to a barbecue and they're getting full off the sides. When you have a barbecue, the star attraction is what costs you the most. 99% of the time, it's the meat. It's the meat. Unless you're some kind of vegan or alien or whatever, it's the meat. You know, so I want a good side because I know when I go out Midwest, it kind of like St. Louis style. You know, when I was in St. Louis, they had good sides. I went to Texas and the sides totally sucked. I didn't want no damn coleslaw, you know, my pulled pork. No. Give me a little barbecue sauce, put everything else to the side. I want my meat to be independent. So when I do the whole hog, I'm gonna have crackling, you know, done it before, you know, I'm gonna have the pull short, I'm gonna have everything at one time, and they're all big hogs. The ham may take forever to cook, who knows? It won't take forever to eat though. So everybody I know got a different spin on what, you know, should be with this whole hog. So my goal is, I'm gonna do it 4 times. My goal is to have it mastered by the 3rd time. That's my goal. First time will be experimental because I haven't did it in a while. And that would tell me what I need and what it would take from me to master it by the 3rd time. Because you learn from your mistakes. A lot of people think that, hey, I just made this for the first time. Isn't the best you ever had? No. If you just made it for the first time, don't come to me. You're going to get your feelings hurt. I don't care what it is. Don't come to me. Go to your kids who are 3 years old and can't talk, or go to your wife who loves you, you know, your girlfriend who you think loves you. Go to all of them. Because and plus, there's very few things that you're going to make for the first time, and it is the way you want it for life. There's very few things, I don't care how you look at life, who it is, whether you're dating, eating, a car. The first car you had, is that the car you want for life? No. The first car you had is the car you got because that's what you or your parents or whomever could afford. You didn't get a Corvette at the age of 16. No, you drove that Gremlin until you could afford something better. That's how life goes. And cooking food is the exact same way. The first time you made it, you say, okay, it's got a great taste. I'm good where I'm at, you know, but can I tweak it? Any good chef is always thinking, how can I tweak it and give it that little that everybody wants? Or how do yours, matter of fact, let me address something. The first time you make most things, you look at a recipe. Nothing wrong with that. You got to start somewhere, and the recipe is the base or the foundation of that dish you're making. So, saying that, it's the base and of whatever you're trying to make. You go by the recipe. What makes you think by you going by that recipe that someone has put in a book on the web? What makes you think that whatever you're cooking from the same recipe, the exact same way, the same ingredients, what makes you think that yours is different than the other 10,000 people who have did the exact same thing from the same recipe that day? How's yours different? It's not. It's not. Recipe books, unless you got it from your grandmother or your mother, somebody old, these recipe books, they sell hundreds of thousands of them. They sell hundreds of thousands of them. So it's no need for you to think yours is special if you did nothing special to that meal or that dish. That's why I said I want to do mine a little bit different. So people try mine, they can say, whoa, this got some oomph in it. And sometimes it can be something as simple as adding more paprika to something. Because they call for a teaspoon, you try it too. You like it spicy. Okay, go for it. And a lot of people like spicy food. I'm not one of them because I want the food to override the spice when I cook. Because spices are cheap and meat is not. So I want that meat to be the star of the show with the spice, but not have the spice dominate. When you cook meat, the spice should never dominate. It should The spice is the plus one or the side piece. It should enhance that meat. In other words, it should be a step behind meat. That's just how it works. So don't sit there and think, hey, the spice is going to dominate. So the recipe you're going to look at is strictly the foundation or the base. Then you tweak and peak it. And I'm going to do that with whole hogs. Should I add a little more here, a little more there? Should I inject more? Should I not inject more? I'm going to master all that. Write my notes, take notes. I'll show you pictures of it. But I'm going to master all that stuff for me. And if you come to my house or you're lucky enough to get invited, you now know what to expect and how it's going to taste. So now we're all good with that. Okay, this is your boy Leon D out. I'll check you in the next video. See you in a few.